Is it safe to say that, books are not just a product for you? It is almost a mission.
My grandfather started Sapna when he had nothing with him. It was his Sapna, it was his dream to educate the world. The more technology India is embracing, the more technology the world is embracing, that many more readers
Ah,
will definitely come.
it took me 2.5 months only to pack my bags from Bombay, go back to Kota and join the business. And the first project I did in my family business was exactly what I did in EY. Welcome to the Keshav Connect. For years, one prediction has repeatedly failed, that books are over. Every decade, there has been a disruptor, whether it's television, whether it's e commerce, smartphones, streaming apps, social media, and now AI. But there have been businesses who have not just survived, but have in fact grown through these disruptions. Today, I have Nijesh with me, director of Sapna Book House. Welcome to the show, Nijesh.
Thank you so much, Keshav. Thank you for having me here. It's a wonderful initiative that you have started to talk to family run business owners, and lovely to be here.
So, Nijesh, there is one part of your story which I keep going back to. I think in some interview you have mentioned that your grandfather started Sapna in a small shop, right? And partly because he was denied education, right? So, is it safe to say that books are not just a product for you? It is almost a mission, and that sort of an origin sort of defines everything that comes after. Is that what you feel as well?
I think you're absolutely right. My grandfather started Sapna when he had nothing with him. It was his Sapna, it was his dream to educate the world. Despite him not being educated, not having the means to go through formal education, he started off in dire strait actually. He was a coolie in the Dadar railway station in Mumbai. And he spent many years doing odd jobs. He was a soap seller. He would sell different, stone based ornaments door to door. And while his daytime work as a coolie at the Dadar railway station, he happened to receive as the coolie association head when he became. He was asked to receive Jawaharlal Nehru, the then Prime Minister of India. And when he received him, he garlanded him, and Mr. Nehru said that, you have something very different on your face. Ma Saraswati is dancing on your face.
Wow.
It might sound very dramatic, very emotional, very movie like, but this was the fact. And when he discussed this with uh, his father spoke to one of his friend who had some acquaintance with a bookstore. It was known as a pocket book distribution company, and through his friend who spoke and recommended my grandfather for a job at the bookstore. That's how he got into the line of selling books. He was appointed as a mere peon at the pocket book distribution company in Bombay. The idea for his father, that is my grandfather's father, for him to be appointed was basically to get a good bride for him, because he would always say that who would marry a coolie. And if Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru has seen something on your face and he's spoken the lines of Saraswati is dancing on your face, let us put him in something educative, because they didn't have the means to provide him with formal education. So his father played a very important role in the journey of Sapna that we are seeing today, by laying that first step of putting him into a bookstore as an employee, as a peon. Back then it was known as the pocket book distribution company. And then it's a long story thereafter as to how he went on to become a section head, a sales manager, and then the branch manager there. He was then appointed at the Chennai based branch of the bookstore pocketbook distribution company. He went to Chennai, he was looking at the Chennai store and came to Bangalore with my grandmother. They got married at that time and they fell in love with the city. My grandmother told him that if at all you wish to start something of your own, we will start it in Bangalore. And the dream, the sapna that they had established as a small conversation between them has grown into a beautiful institute, an organization that serves millions of customers over the last 60 years. So, to answer to your question, was it a mission? It definitely was. A mission which was very subtle, very emotionally driven, but today it sees wings beyond what probably my grandfather would have dreamt of back then. So it's a wonderful journey, and I'm privileged, very honored to be part of this great legacy. My grandfather, my father, both my uncles, myself, we are doing all that it takes to ensure that the flag of Sapna flies high and we're able to serve as many customers as we are doing.
So it's a how I see it now is that it is of course started as a mission, right? But not just as a mission, they have taken it in a direction of building a nation as well. Because in our business also, right, we have been told so many times over the last 40 years that we are not just doing the work of educating students, but it's also sort of contributing in nation building, right? And similarly, your uh, enterprise have also contributed in nation building, right? And whenever you do nation building, right, every disruption that comes your way, you just have to fight it out, right? Because beyond a mission, if you are doing something, you can't let yourself be complacent. My question is that over the last 40 years or 50 years of your journey, or your father's journey, or your grandfather's journey, which is the one disruption that came has really sort of made you think that, okay, this might sort of, change the way people perceive books or people take books, right? Or this is the disruption which might, make people move away from books and move towards television or social media or streaming or anything. So what is that one disruption that has really
No,
made you
so
think?
like you very rightly said, when you're part of a mission larger than yourself,
Yeah,
like Alan, the way you guys have been running the entire business and the show, creating the legacy for India as a country, creating the next leader,
right.
the mission is far bigger than just yourself. So when that is the key takeaway of your day-to-day work, uh, disruption coming, disruption going becomes part and parcel of your
Right.
work. And like you rightly said, that there have been many instances whereby many people, many individuals, domain experts, companies, families would have thought that, is reading really
Hmm.
important? Is reading something that we really want to invest in? But when you look at the times when the televisions came in, did the reading stop? Did publishing stop? Did content creation stop? No. Beyond the television, you had the internet age.
Hmm.
When that took place, did any of these things stop? In fact, it was much more. Beyond that, we look at the smartphone eras. We talk about the OTT platforms. Did any of these things really disrupt the pattern, the consumption of content?
Yeah.
No.
No, it hasn't. Yeah.
And now we talk about the AI, right? Which is the talk
Which
of
can generate
everybody's,
which can generate books in seconds. Yeah.
right? So the more technology India is embracing, the more technology the world is embracing, that many more readers
Oh,
will definitely come. Look
right.
at music industry, for example. Did music change from the time when we had the radio till today when we have your Spotify. The change of the medium of music consumption may have happened, but the reason of people listening to music will never change. Similar to that is books and reading. The medium of consumption might
Right.
change,
So distribution would have
yes,
changed.
but will reading stop? Never. That's very important for us to understand. And Sapna has been in the path of not book selling. It'll be incorrect for us to say that, hey, we are Sapna, we are booksellers. Had that been the case, yes, surviving would have been difficult. But we are in the path of creating a platform of discovery. You're an entrepreneur, you're a business leader, you're a student, you're a retired individual, you're a young teen. You need platform to calm yourself, to create that pause in the ever evolving, fast paced life that you're part of. And books is the only commodity that helps you do that. It helps you build EQ beyond your IQ. And today's world, the era that we live in, the EQ is more important than the IQ.
Right.
So the understanding of why books are more relevant today is because of all the distractions that we have around, which makes books
More
the
relevant.
most relevant
Yeah.
commodity in the lives of an individual in the way the society is built. So I think disruptions will keep on happening. If you think of, or if we think that we are only a bookseller, we'll get absorbed in that disruption. We won't be able to come out. But if the moment we think of ourselves as a community builder, as an experiential center, as a space for discovery, as a space for communities to come, meet, talk, and we start creating those kind of platforms, opportunities through the selling of books and the stores that we have, will always stay relevant. And that's why Sapna is staying relevant, and it's also growing.
And I think the reason why disruptions have only aided the way people have perceived books is also because you, as Sapna, also evolved, right? From a traditional bookstore, you have evolved into something like Sapna Online, right? Which, by the way, you started, right? So, at an early age of 22, if I'm not wrong, right? So, hats off to that. What was the age when you joined the business? Because if you started Sapna Online at 22, I'm pretty sure you would be pretty young when you joined the business.
So I was in I did my post graduation from Bangalore, from St. Joseph's, and I got placed at Goldman Sachs.
Ah, right,
Goldman Sachs was as a business analyst. I got
right.
placed there. I went 3 months. I did work at the Goldman Sachs office next to Koromangala in Bangalore, and I realized that I don't want to sit and make Excels for other
You
companies.
said you were tired of reading ratios, right, in an
Yeah.
interview. I know.
And that was part of my understanding back then. But when I look back, right, and we are talking about family run businesses and the generation head, I think it's also to do with uh, the lineage you come from, the blood that you are, right? Uh, it was always written that I look at what my father is doing, I look at what my grandfather was doing, and I fell in love with what they were doing, which made me leave my so called corporate job, come back to the family business, and then take it ahead. So that was at the age of 21 is when I joined the business. And when I joined the business, my uncle, he had already thought of doing something on the e-commerce space.
Okay.
He wanted to, look at how could we have book selling across the country where we're not present. And when I came in, I dwelled more into that idea, that thought, and we were doing a little bit of selling of books through calls. We used to send books through the customers' houses through, India Post and stuff like that. But because I had some exposure on new trends, on technology, I was able to use a platform that Sapna has in terms of inventory, and explore the option of creating a full-fledged e-commerce site, have integrations with payment gateway partners, courier partners, customer support teams, look at drop shipment models, and use the pricing and the inventory logics in the best way possible to create that. A lot of people ask me, you started Sapna Online way before the Flipkart came in the business or the Amazon really took over. Uh, what happens when such big giants come? The answer was very simple. You don't tend to compete with them. You try to collaborate with them. Um, when we started to look at that angle, then we had the opportunity to make ourselves as a marketplace seller also. So at Sapna, if I think that I only want to look at Sapna as how it has been looked at, and with all the disruptions that you spoke of, right?
Yeah.
Amazon e-commerce was also one of the disruptors in the
Absolutely.
Indian ecosystem. And if you don't embrace that and try to work with the game changer or the disruptor of the economy, you will be left behind. So we went to Amazon and said, hey, we are very strong in the category that we are dealing with. Academics, we are very strong. Regional category, we are very strong. We can provide you with this category, and together we can reach out to more and more readers, more and more learners. And you mentioned about the mission. The mission was never about always making money for ourselves. The mission was very clear. How can we educate the world? How can we be
Right.
part of the ecosystem of learning and knowledge? So then we started doing all the collaborations with various e-commerce players. And today, Sapna Online stands as an independent e-commerce player with our own strength in the categories that we are dealing with. At the same time, we're part of marketplaces. We are also going to be launching with quick commerce. So we're there where the customers are there.
I can relate so much with your story where you quit Goldman and joined the family business, because exactly like you, I had joined EY immediately after graduating, worked for in investment banking itself, worked for a couple of months, and then joined back the family business. And the reason for joining was very simple. You know, I was when I had joined, I was started. The first initial project or the task was given to me was to start doing company benchmarking or profiling of the companies. So that the analysts or the consultants can prepare to pitch it to the potential investors. And 1 month of doing so, I realized that why don't I just do it for my own segment by being in my own company, right? Luckily, I had done some work during the EY journey itself, but once I had a grasp of, okay, this is the way I need to work when I joined my family business, I had decided to quit. And it took me 2.5 months only to pack my bags from Bombay, go back to Kota and join the business. And the first project I did in my family business was exactly what I did in EY. I started with profiling all the competitions that we had. And, to my surprise at that time, it was never done by anyone in the company. We only looked at competition in terms of who's producing the best result. But with this whole exercise, I thought there is something that I'm contributing. So yeah, that was something that instigated in me to go back and join the family business. But I think it takes a very huge courage, to do what has not been done for so many years. For example, in your case, you mentioned that Sapna Online was something, or partnering with Amazon was something uh, no one could have ever think before you stepped in, right? How that decision was taken by your previous generation? Because in India, family businesses are, hugely famous for uh, not following the, or I would say they're usually famous for being very conventional in their approach, not unconventional so much so forth. So how that decision, to partner with Amazon, to become a platform or to create a marketplace, etc., was taken by our previous generation.
So, the good part, Keshav, about the Sapna family, and you can ask many publishers, many distributors, a lot of people in the entire ecosystem, and they would tell you that we are one of the very few families in the country who are so well knit in terms of our thinking, in terms of our decisions, in terms of execution. We are a family of 14 members and one kitchen even today.
Wow.
And the strength that comes from uh, the, the foundation that was laid by my grandfather, my father, and the family ahead uh, makes decisions like these a bit more easy.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say there was any one opposing. Everyone in the business was always looking at how can we grow, how can we be more closer to our consumer, how can we spread reading far and wide beyond the physical retail stores that we had. So it was a matter of putting down the numbers, breaking down the different processes and systems, discussing with my father, my uncle, in terms of what exactly we want to do, and getting their experience on the table also. Because if I have trending and new age ideas and the exposure on the technology front, they have the experience of the business. Back then, it was far more than what I had. So it was always a combination with a single objective that Sapna has to reach out to more and more people. And we are a fully bootstrapped company.
Yeah.
We don't have any debt. So any decision that we had to take had to be very well drilled financially, very well drilled strategically, because we didn't have the capacity to lose money, right? It had to be done in a very smart way. And it's a culmination of everybody's inputs, the experience, and the new age ideas has to combine together for something like this to happen. So, to answer to you, was it difficult? Not at all. Was it easy? I would still say not at all, because we didn't have the vitamin N back then in terms of, you need deep pockets for a lot of these expansions. We were bootstrapped, we had to be calculative, but we took that chance. We put that money in the right place,
Yeah.
and we've been able to do well now.
But for a 25-year-old, right, to have an idea like I will go and collaborate with Amazon, that what I have seen generally, if I have to say I am a 25-year-old and I have an idea that I will go and partner with Amazon, first thing I would hear is that okay, go to shop and learn this. Has that sort of a thing happened to you, that okay, now that you have been told okay, this idea is good, but first learn the basics of the business, go understand what you are currently doing, and then come up with all these ideas.
No, you're right. There were conversations around that,
Yeah.
because I had just joined the business, and I was probably a year old in the business when thought of exploding and exploring the entire e-commerce side of things. And there was considerable investment involved, because it was not easy for us to get the developers to do the integrations and do the business development with other vendors and partners. And there were conversations around that I should look at the basics of how retailing is done. But the beauty about my father uh, is that he always listens. He has a lot of experience, but there's never been a time where he has told me that, okay, this is something you cannot do. Get me the data, get me the numbers. He would ask a lot of questions, and I had to do all my homework to ensure that whatever I wish to do, it has to be done perfectly, because, like I said, money was not something which was like a flowing water tap, right? Because in the industry that we are in, um, it had to be done very, very smartly. And we were able to do that. And he asked me a lot of questions, and I could answer those questions, which made him believe in the entire project. And we started.